back to the Style and Beauty Doctor on YouTube. So today we are going to have a bit of a hybrid of a video. So I'm going to talk about the Too Faced Born This Way concealers in the deeper shades. And because I want to try out the concealers for a couple of days before I give like my final thoughts on it. But instead of making like 2 videos, I'm going to put it all into one. So this first part of the video is going to be me to do a demo of the concealers so you can see them. And I also have swatches of the shades that I have. I don't have all of the shades, but I have a good number of them. So I'll show you swatches. So make sure you stay tuned and of course, subscribe. So let's get into it. So here's a look at the deepest colors that these concealers come in. And then here are the swatches. I tried my best. I don't know why my arm wouldn't turn the way or I couldn't get the camera, but here are the swatches. Now, Too Faced sent me the entire shade range. The thing with Too Faced, they've had me on their PR list for years, but I have no clue who sends me their stuff. But it comes to my apartment, which I stopped having mail come to my apartment years ago because delivery people, for whatever reason, don't like to deliver packages. So I live in a building where there are a lot of people and packages have been delivered to the main lobby. They've been left in front of the elevator. And for whatever reason, these people, especially like Lasership, think that as long as it's in the building at some point, it's okay. But it's like, you just left my package in the lobby. But anyway, I have no clue who sends me these packages. I would prefer for them to send it to where my packages go at a mailbox where I go and pick it up. But again, no clue who sends it. So, and the reason why I'm saying that is because I was hoping to get the new shades that Jackie Aina worked on for Too Faced. Maybe it got delivered. Maybe somebody in my building, maybe, you know, somebody's grandmama is rocking Jackie Aina's foundations. Who knows? But for now, I just have the concealers. So before this video, I had a chance to kind of like play around with the colors. And my very first impression was like, wow, this looks amazing. But I haven't had a chance to actually like wear it out. That'll come later in the video, you know, once I've had a chance to test it out. But color-wise, Toffee was a great shade, or the best shade out of what they had to brighten up underneath my eyes. And then Cocoa was the best shade that they had available in the range that could conceal. Like, I get this same dark spot right here all the time because I get the same pimple like right here every time I get my period. And it's like this pimple has like a central nervous system and a brain and like a heartbeat, and that mess just like pulsates and like gets bigger and bigger. And it swells down, it leaves this big dark spot, which I, you know, with my skincare routine, work to fade it. The spot fades, and then guess what happens? I get another big pimple on my chin. So it's like always like never ending. And I always get them up here too. And it's like, so say I wanted to just, you know, do like a no makeup look, but I wanted to cover my discoloration. I'm not going to wear, say I didn't want to wear foundation. I would need a brighter color, a lighter color underneath my eyes. And when you're brightening underneath your eyes, you don't want to go more than 2 shades lighter. Especially, you could, I mean, it is your world, you do what you want to do. But if you're covering discoloration and you go more than 2 shades lighter, you can actually be drawing more attention to that discoloration. And then when you take pictures, it can look a little ghastly. But again, do you, if that's the look you like, I love it. But if you want to look more balanced, I'd say go no more than 2 shades lighter underneath your eye area. And for the under eye area, I like, especially if you're covering discoloration, you want something that either has an orange undertone or, depending on your skin tone, maybe something with a very red or very warm undertone if you have a deeper skin tone. Then, for me, I use, so for outside here, this area here where I'm darker than the inner part of my face, I couldn't use that same brightening concealer here because then it would be like, almost like a target. It's almost like a target, like right on my face. If I were to put this lighter color just like right there to try to conceal, and I'm doing this without the mirror, like it would just be like, okay, why? Like you got something on your face right there, like what are you doing? So for an area right there, I would use something that more matches my skin tone, which would be the Cocoa. So I'm going to show you how Toffee looks underneath the eye. So if you watch my previous video, I have filler underneath my eyes. Now that I have the filler, it's slightly lifted, so now the discoloration is kind of like very concentrated. Anyway, I'm using Toffee here. Now this these concealers, I have never seen, it's like a mini foundation bottle. This packaging is like mad big. So as I mentioned, I have the discoloration underneath my eyes, and I want to cover that up but also brighten the area. So I love a doe foot applicator. I'm just gonna dot that there. Look at that skin-like look. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what the concealer does. It says it's a hydrating, full coverage, weightless 4-in-1 concealer that conceals, contours, highlights, and retouches. Smooths and sculpts skin for natural looking coverage. Infused with coconut water, alpine rose, and hyaluronic acid, these skin-loving ingredients come together for crease-free, weightless wear that's so naturally flawless they'll think you're born this way. Benefits, it says that it has versatile shades, can be used for concealing, contouring, highlighting, and retouching. Doe foot applicator allows for perfectly precise application, weightless wear, hydrating so skin is never dry or cakey. And so far with, you know, this is not my first time actually putting it on my skin. I put it on last night because I was looking for colors so that I could, you know, be prepared. I would say that so far, everything that they said about it being hydrating, full coverage, skin-like, flawless, I would say yes. I can't talk about crease-free because I've only had it on for like 2 minutes, but let's do the other eye. I like how this brightens up underneath my eyes. It's gonna look very like, it probably, I can't tell what it looks like on camera, but it probably looks like mad brightened here and nice and smooth, and then everything else is just like, oh. But once you set it with powder, balance everything out, you know, fill in brows, do eye makeup. I'm just showing you a demo here, so this is not like a look, you know? Now let's do Cocoa. I believe Cocoa is the deepest shade, and I know that they say that you can contour with this concealer as well too. I usually contour with a foundation just because it's easier to kind of like manipulate it. I use a cream foundation, the Cover FX P125, or sometimes I might use N120 depending on the look I'm going for. But I believe Cocoa is the deepest shade, so Cocoa is not dark enough for me to contour with, so I won't be able to show you. I won't be able to show you a contour demo. So. And this spot isn't even that bad. You might not even be able to see it that well on camera, demo purposes. So you can see how, and even like I have some like discoloration around my mouth, I could do that. Again, this is stuff that my foundation gets, so I don't necessarily need a concealer for this area, but for demo purposes, here we are. And then I have this big spot on my forehead. I almost always tend to get a pimple here. Let's see, because I'm not, let's see if what Cocoa does. Cocoa may not be the right color. Let's see. Oh, not bad. So if I was going for like a no makeup look, or if I was going out and I didn't want to put a ton of makeup on, but I still wanted to cover my discoloration. Okay, so that concludes the demo portion of this video. So what I'm going to do is over the next 2 to 3 days, I'm going to try this out with my full makeup look, see how I like it, see if it's really creaseless, if it stays on, if I'm liking how it looks by the end of the day, if it lasts in this New York City humidity with my oily skin. We're gonna see all of that, and then I'm gonna come back. It's like the power of like magic. Like, it's gonna be 2 to 3 days, but it's gonna feel like 5 seconds because I'm gonna come back on and be like, hey, this is my thoughts about the concealer. I've had a couple of days to try out the Too Faced concealer, and here are my thoughts. There definitely needs to be more shades on the deeper end of the spectrum. This Cocoa shade is like just about my complexion. So if you're someone who has a richer complexion than mine, if you're darker than me, this cocoa shade might work underneath the eyes if you wanted to highlight, but then you don't have as many options. So yeah, definitely need more shades in this concealer range. This is not something that the lovely Jackie Aina you know, put her thumbprint on and including more shades, although they have more shades than they initially had in their first launch. Now let's talk about performance. So I like this concealer. I liked that. I love the finish. When the minute I first put it on, I was like, oh, Too Faced has something here. Like, this concealer looks amazing on the skin. I don't like it to highlight or contour with. I prefer not to highlight and contour with liquids. Myself personally, I prefer a cream, because a cream I can manipulate, I can, you know, layer to, if I need more coverage, I can, you know, move it around more than I can a liquid. I did try to highlight with this. I'm not a fan of the liquid because I felt like the liquid was a little bit too loose and it wasn't really giving me the look that I wanted to get, like that I would get with the cream concealer. By the way, the cream concealer that I use is the Bobbi Brown Cream Concealer in Golden. I use that to highlight, and then I use the Cover FX P125, or sometimes I use the N120 cream and then I use the powder, or sometimes I just use the Cover FX powder in those shades. Didn't love this to highlight with because it was too loose of a consistency. Not saying that you can't highlight with it. I didn't love highlighting with it. I prefer a cream, as I mentioned before. But what I did like it for is, since I've gotten the filler, and you can read more about that, well, not read, but watch my filler video. I'll put it in the description box, so you can just check my channel. I've always had discoloration underneath my eyes. As a matter of fact, my eyelids and underneath my eyes are darker than the inner portion of my face. But since I got the filler, the discoloration is kind of like concentrated all in one area. So before, whereas I was able to put my foundation on and then, you know, use my Bobbi Brown concealer to highlight and then finish with the rest of my makeup, when I do that now with the discoloration being so concentrated, it drew more attention to it. Like, I felt like it was like, hello, discoloration. So what I started to do was to put a concealer, the Makeup Forever HD concealer in, I believe the shade is Y51. So I would put that on to cover up the discoloration after I put my foundation on, and then I would go in and highlight. So that's how I use this, the toffee color. I would put this on the discoloration, you know, blend it out with the Beauty Blender, set it with powder, and then, you know, move on to the rest of my makeup, and then I would go in with my Bobbi Brown concealer to highlight. So I did test it out where I did use it to highlight, and I used it also on its own as if like just like a regular conceal and go kind of set with powder makeup look. And I did notice that I had some creasing up in this area, and I do have fine lines up here, but it does say 12-hour wear, and that day I probably, and it was hot. So while this is not a concealer that I myself personally would add to my stash, it doesn't mean that it's a bad product. It just means that it's not for me. Overall, it's a decent product for what it is. It's not necessarily a product that I myself would use in the way that it was intended. Like I mentioned, that I used it to cover the darkness underneath my eyes, and then I still went and put my Bobbi Brown cream concealer to highlight. I'm a highlight kind of girl. I'm a cream kind of girl. So for me, you know, that just works better for me. Not bad, but not something for me, if that makes sense. This is my first time doing a review video like this, where I shot the footage a couple days in advance with, like, I guess like first impressions, and then came to you at the end with my thoughts after trying it for a couple of days. I've been reviewing products for years on my blog, and it's so much easier to like just type that stuff out. Especially, I can take as much time, well, not as much time, but I can take enough time as I want to review things. And if I need to, like, maybe like if I have a typo or something that, or maybe I worded something funny, I can go in and change it. Can't do that on camera. Also, you know, people misunderstand what you're saying, which I've experienced in one of my last videos. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Would you try this Too Faced concealer? Have you tried this Too Faced concealer? Do you have a favorite concealer that you just want to shout from the mountaintops how much you love that concealer? Leave that below too. And I will see you in my next video. Follow me on social. I'll have the links in the description box. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you fine folks in my next video. Bye guys.